and welcome to Morgan, Brayton, and other people. Like a lot of little girls, when I was little, my mom taught me how to sew. When I was probably about 6, actually. And so in honor of today's episode, I brought my very first sewing project. Now, for those of you who don't sew, let me break it down for you. This is plaid. When you sew with plaid, you gotta match up all the lines. It also has a zipper in it. It is lined, and it has ruffled sleeves. In 8th grade home ec, our very first sewing project was a gym bag, essentially a pillowcase with a drawstring. Pretty tall order, Mom, pretty tall order. As an adult, I really appreciate my mom teaching me that anything worth doing is worth doing well, and that I will never, ever be good enough. Relationships with moms can sometimes be complicated, and that's what we're talking about today. So, everybody and their mother should stick around for the mother of all shows. We're talking today about moms. Hey, ladies.
Hi, Morgan.
Do you all have moms?
Yes.
Oh, that's convenient. Anybody ever made a dress like this?
No. Not at 6.
Right?
Not ever.
I know.
Not at 6. Like, not ever.
7 years.
It is one of those things that in hindsight, I'm like, what?
Yeah, you did
Really?
well.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's adorable. I wish it still
adorable.
fit. I mean, it.
Katie Ellen, try it on.
I don't know. Am I the only one with a complicated mother relationship?
I don't think that's possible to have a non-complicated mother relate. Do they exist?
I don't think so.
No.
It would be tough. You were inside the woman.
Take it away, Robyn.
We're talking about moms. I don't want to be inside anybody's.
Oh, I see.
Well,
We found Robyn's line. There's the line that Robyn won't cross it.
But it's complicated from the get-go.
Yeah.
It is complicated to get out.
I've seen a video.
Oh God, it's horrific.
No. It's not like as a baby you have to instigate that though. It's not like you're like,
You're
oh, am I
supposed to.
gonna? It just happens.
Well, you don't navigate it, I suppose,
No,
yourself.
no.
But it's still very
It's like
complicated.
the worst water slide. You're just like,
How's your relationship with your mom, Erica?
good. I think mine is very uncomplicated. Besides the fact that, you know, she's way more religious than I am, which means she's religious. So like we don't get along on the drinking front so much.
Okay.
But everything else, I love my mom. I think she's great. And
That's like the one thing my mom and I never ever disagree on is
drinking?
Yeah. Mom, should we have it? Yes, we should probably. Should we keep drinking? Cool. Yeah. Do you want to get more?
Hashtag
Sure.
jealous.
Great. Let's keep drinking.
I had a complicated relationship with my mom. I think this was probably the beginning of it. My mom used to say when I was always a good student, and I'd come home and I would say like, I'd bring home my test and say, look, Mom, I got 95% on my test. And she would say, what happened to the other 5%?
Yeah.
And she said later on in life, like, I was joking.
My dad would say, "I sure wish you kids could learn your math equations the way you learn song lyrics, because we'd be singing along to the radio, and we'd get our grades and be like F's and D's. Why can't you just learn stuff like that and sing along?" I'm like, well, because it's boring and lame.
Because it does not
It doesn't have a good beat, Dad. Sorry. Yeah.
I think because when I was born, I don't know, I have some weird blood type where I was like rushed to what they were gonna have to like replace all my blood. I can't remember what it's called. And then I didn't talk till I was 3. I think my parents were just really happy that I turned out kind of normal. Like all my report cards were like, Erica doesn't have hand-eye coordination. Like I think I was just this little non-talking kid flinging paintbrushes everywhere. So my parents are just very like, good for you. Look what you did. Like that would never have been put in front of me.
No.
Something with a zipper.
Yeah.
It's all Velcro.
Or even the gym bag, because you might get caught up in
Yeah. It's on my head.
Erica's in the gym bag again. Somebody help. So even as a kid, your relationship was good with your mom?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was like strict. Like she was the one that, like, I would never talk. I tried talking back once to my mom, and it did not go well. Like I forget. I was something like, "Well, you buy your lunch," and because I wanted lunch money,
Right.
and that hand came out so fast. I was like. And then I turned back to look at, like, to see the sorry look on her face, and she just stared. I was like, oh, no, okay, got it. No lunch money, got it. Yeah,
Right.
So
I
like she was strict, but like she did everything. She knew how to sew and cook, and she'd put in a new floor. Like she was so good at everything. I was just like, you're a superhero.
But you are now.
I was going to say,
You're
that sounds a
handy.
little like
That's
somebody
you. You do
else.
stuff all the time, and
Yeah.
you cook and you throw amazing wine parties.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That one I just came up with on my own. Not
You
from
can't
my mom.
know, not from your mom.
Yeah, so I mean, I really respect her. I love her. Sorry, guys. Nerd.
Well, no, but that's why that's why I say complicated, because
we love our moms.
Yeah, you can love and respect your mom and also kind of want to strangle her all the time.
Oh yeah.
I heard you talking to your mom earlier today. First of all, you had the mom tone, right?
And that's the problem.
You can always tell when somebody's talking to their mom on the phone. There's like a certain tone that we only use when we're talking to our moms. It's like slight intolerance, definite impatience.
Yes. Well, I needed her to find something at home, like at her home, that I was looking for. So I sent her a text and was just like, hey, Mom, are you home? Nothing else. She calls me immediately, which I miss. I get a big, long voicemail, call me, call me, call me. And then I get a text, call me, I'm in my car. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm panicking, like there's something wrong. So I call him, like, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, I saw that you sent me that text. And I'm like, yeah, like I just needed to know if you were home, like yes or no. And she's like, oh no, I was putting groceries in the car. And I said, okay, well, like, are you going home now? Well, no, now I'm just gonna sit in the car comfortably and I'm gonna talk to my daughter. I'm like, no, I need you to go home. And I was just like, no. And she's like, oh, you're not just calling to chat then? I'm like, no, I mean, yes, like obviously I want to know how you're doing because I love you. But, I was just like, if I text you, don't call me because unless you're dying, and don't like call me and then I miss the call and then you say, please call me, I'm in my car. Like now I think you're like on the highway dead, even though you live on a small lot, but still. Like that's the thing that drives me nuts is if you reach out a little bit, they go a little bit nuts about it. So I try to keep it to a minimum.
If I text you, don't call me.
Don't call me. If I want
Mother's
to call
Day
you,
card
I love
right
it.
there.
I would call you, but I don't. Like I call my mom. I don't know how I managed to do this, but I set it up. I call her every Sunday morning while I'm walking to work. I live approximately 3.5 minutes away from work.
You're so smart.
And I have about 5 minutes of time where I'm like kind of setting up the restaurant before I have to go. And like, so I have about an 8-9 minute phone conversation with my mother once a week. I'm like, Mom, I gotta line up. Okay, well, I'll talk to you next Sunday, I guess. I'm like, yep, talk to you next Sunday. Keep all your stories together. I don't want to hear from you before then.
So you have very clear limits and boundaries.
She doesn't know about them, but yes, I do.
Right.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I've set them up nicely. Yeah, and then I like it. She called me the other night, and I immediately, she was like, I just miss you. I love you, and I miss my favorite daughter. I'm like, Mom, I'm your only daughter. Well, no, Jen's like a daughter to me. And I'm like, well, no, I get that, but your actual daughter should be more your favorite than somebody that's like a daughter to you. Yeah. And then I was like, have you been drinking? She's like, no, well, I'm not drunk. I had a few glasses of wine. And I'm like, okay, because it's just when am I going to see you? When are you coming over? I just miss you and love you so much.
Your mom's drunk dialing you.
Oh. Right? Yeah. She used to drunk sext me, but at least that slowed down. I'd be like, Mom, which number is this
like, Mom,
number?
don't text me, call me.
So creepy.
She would accidentally, oh no.
Yeah, because my
that's
stepdad's
awkward.
number is very close to my number. I'm like, Mom, you've got to put these things in your phone. Like, I can't get one more pic of that. I just can't do it.
Oh. But that leads to something else though, which is like those boundaries with moms, right? Because it sounds like you and your mom are friends.
We are. Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know. No, but you have more like more of a friend relationship, which is not quite the same as
me.
No.
I do not have. My mom does not know I drink or smoke pot.
Okay.
How about that?
She does now.
Well, you're welcome, Mom. No, but I have a very mom to daughter relationship. There's not. Like, she wants to be friends with me, but every time she'll be like, let's go for coffee. And then I'll be like, coffee really means you'll just tell me I need to lose weight.
Oh, really?
That's the whole conversation, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, which is not the best. Can't be friends with someone who's going to make you feel sad all the time.
No. Well, you can, but why would you want to?
Yeah.
But is that a mom thing, though? Because I feel like that's just a mom thing to talk
Obsessed.
about your weight.
But the weird thing is that when we're in Africa, she's like, look at all the men looking at you. You're so beautiful.
Oh, really?
But here she's like, lose the weight.
She knows her audience.
My mom plays to her audience.
Yes.
I'm moving to Africa.
All right, I'm going to look up flights to Africa. And while we're doing that, we're going to take a quick break. And we'll be right back with more Morgan Brayton and other people. Welcome back to Morgan, Brayton, and Other People. We're talking about moms on the show today, and you brought up your mom always telling you to lose weight in certain countries. And I don't know about
Very
you guys.
geographically based.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You
like an
know where you are.
iPhone.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like mom GPS. Oh, you're fine here, but here you're huge.
Exactly.
I know with me and my mom, that was a big one. But it wasn't like my mom telling me to lose weight. It was that I took that on. I don't know how to quite articulate this, but like I remember as a kid there being a time when I realized I wasn't my mom, like this sort of separation from my mom, because I went to Weight Watchers for the first time when I was 9 years old, which is insane, not just because I was 9, but because I was not overweight, right? But I think I internalized all that from my mom because my mom was always struggling with her weight, and I think I was like, well, this is what women
You're
do.
projecting your mom's image onto you.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but yeah, so I very much, I think a lot of my body stuff comes from my mom having body stuff, and I'm trying to sort of disown it now, but it's in there. It's deeply in there.
Did you go to Weight Watchers with your mom? Like you went together, like mother-daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like doing it, not just, well, I gotta go, so you gotta go because I don't have a babysitter. Like, you're also signed up, right? Like, I remember being young, like crying to my mom, saying like, I just don't want to be fat anymore. And my mom saying, well, let's make a plan and blah, blah, blah. And in hindsight, I go, but the answer should have been, you're not fat. This is ridiculous, stop. You're beautiful, there's nothing wrong with you, you're a child, exactly. So, maybe it wasn't all me that was taking that on, but do you
My
have...
mother sent me a photo not that long ago, and it's a photo from my eldest brother's wedding, and in it I'm like minimum 30, if not more, like 40 pounds heavier than I am now.
Yeah.
And it was just out of the blue, sent this photo, and the caption was, "Look how far you've come." And what I read was, "Remember when you weren't my daughter." And we were definitely not as close then, and part of that is age.
Right.
But there's a piece where she feels closer to me when I'm closer to her.
Her goal weight for you.
Yeah. Is that like a generational thing, or is that like, do you think because I mean, as a mom, that's horrifying to me, and I would hope that I would never, ever put anything like that on my kids. But is that just a mom thing, or is that a generational thing?
My mom and her friends are all like that. Like when I go to visit my mom, the first thing all of them say, either they say nothing or they say, oh my God, you look so great. You've lost weight. You look so good. Like out of all of their mouths, that's the first thing. And on the phone with my mom, when she knows that I've been working out, oh, well, you must have lost so much weight. Like how much weight have you lost? And she definitely she is obsessed with her weight. My mom lives and breathes by what she weighs and how she looks. And it's really sad to me. And I think I feel really fortunate that because I see her doing it, I have really taken the opposite way. Like there are times where I wish that I weighed a little bit less or looked a little bit better, but I in no way am obsessed with it. And I've been really, I kind of took the opposite look on it. And she saw me, and I sometimes didn't see how she saw me, which I'm really thankful for, because I'd probably be really f***ed up if I had.
But you've made a conscious decision
I have
not
to
be
live that
way.
way. Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of those decisions that we make around our moms. Like I'm never gonna be like my mom who XYZ.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah?
Oh yeah, but then we always end up being like our mom in other ways.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Jesus is like, sure, I'll give you that. I'm gonna give you that, but then you're gonna have to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
When I sigh, I hear my mom. It's the weirdest thing. Like I turn into my mom more every day, absolutely. But I hear myself every once in a while, and it's just like, I'm like, Mom? Oh shit, it was me! I'm totally becoming my mom.
Everyone always says I sound like my mom when I laugh, which horrifies me because my mom's laugh is the worst laugh. But they're like, oh, when you think something is really funny, you sound just like your mom. And I'm like, ooh, no, thank you.
I don't think you're alone in that. Like, no, I don't want to be like my mom. What is that about, do you think?
When you're a teenager, your whole thing is to separate yourself from your family. So like they're stupid and you're smart and you're like, I'm never gonna do that. And you see their mistakes and stuff, so you're like, I would never do that.
But then we all do them.
Yeah. But I had somebody who knew me when I was like 7 or 8 and who was very good friends with my mom come to see a show. And I had never heard this before. And she just said, oh my gosh, you're like exactly, because my mom talks with her hands a lot. And nobody had ever said it to me. And she's like, it was like watching your mom up there.
Really?
And I was like, really? And then next time I was with my mom, I noticed, like we both do this thing where, not for any reason, we just wring our hands. Like Jay's always like, what is wrong? And I'm like, nothing. And he's like, you look like you're either scheming to kill me or like you're really upset. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, but watch out. But like those things that are that I'm not doing on purpose.
Right.
But I didn't ever want to get married or have kids because of watching, like my mom did everything. Like, and I was like, this is a ripoff. I never want to get married and have kids.
Are there things that in relationships that you said, I'm never going to be like my mom? Like, do you find your relationship? Because I am totally my mom. I'm totally my mom, and I have to work against it. You fight like your mom? What does that mean?
Which is me to not fight.
Yeah.
To just totally shut down and be like,
Oh,
days.
that look. I wouldn't like
Awful.
that look either.
No.
No, that's a shut down look. Yeah.
Does anybody's mom, my mom used to go and just start doing the dishes. Like
Like angrily doing
And I
the
do that.
dishes. Oh yeah.
I'm passive aggressive like my mom. I'm like the victim like my mom in a sense where what's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing. Are you sure you said no, I'm fine. I don't know why you're worried about me. I'm fine. Did you do anything that would make you think that there's something wrong with me? No, then I'm fine. Instead of just being, yes, this is the problem. Like,
And the
I'm
look on your
very, and
face
then I
says you're
cry.
fine.
I know,
I
right?
don't know why.
I'm a really good actor. No, but then I start, and I cry. Like, I'd be standing there crying, doing the dishes, and very much so, like I leave and I make them know without telling them.
Right.
And that's my mother to a T.
Okay.
To a T.
good.
Yeah.
It's
And then she'll call me quietly and whisper in the other room about what her husband just did. And I'm like, why don't you just have a conversation? Well, what would you do? I would do exactly what you did. I can't even fault you for that. I would do exactly what you were doing, so fair enough.
All right, we have to take another break, and we'll sit here silently glaring at each other until you get back here. See you in a couple minutes. We're back on Morgan, Brayton, and Other People, and we're talking about moms today. Do you think you look like your mom?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah? You do? Yeah. Let me see. I have evidence here. Here's Fatima and her mom.
Oh, yeah.
The two bottom ones are my mom when she was young and my mom now.
That's a weird thing, right? When people go, you look exactly like your mom at that age, and when you see pictures of your mom at your age,
Yeah.
I do.
You do. She's beautiful, Fatima.
Lovely ladies.
You're going to age gracefully, obviously.
That's always a nice one, right? That you can be like, oh, I'm gonna look good when I'm her
Have
age.
you seen my mom?
Robyn, you're gonna look at you and your mom.
Isn't she cute?
Pretty lady.
Sassy bangs.
I know.
Sassy
Those are
bangs.
sassy
Well, that's
bangs.
my mom. She's sassy.
Katie Ellen, I didn't know you were so much taller than your mom.
And Katie Ellen is not a tall girl.
No.
She's standing on a rock.
Oh, trickery.
That makes sense.
No, she isn't really. Look, they're the same size.
Cute.
I love all these cute pictures of moms. I actually don't have. I have like one picture of me and my mom as a sort of adult, which is, I have to admit, really, really upsetting to me. These are two of my favorite pictures of me and my mom. Because I look exactly the same. Look at my pants. So cute. I have the exact. I showed everything we're both wearing. I have the exact same body shape now. Not as my mom, but of me as a 3-year-old. Exact same. But yeah, as you may have sort of picked up from my allusions, my mom died suddenly in 2007. And we didn't have any other next of kin. It was just me and my mom, and so it took them a while to figure out who to notify. And so the police showed up at my door, which is, for somebody like me, I was like, oh God, I'm going downtown. And I was like trying to figure out what I had done, and I've done nothing. But I was totally like, I've done something and I'm going to jail. Who will feed the cats?
the cats.
Sadly, I wasn't going to jail. They told me that my mom had passed away suddenly from a heart attack. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's just nostalgia. Like, there's always that kind of thing when somebody dies and you look back and you're like, oh, they were so great. And everyone's like, no, they weren't. And so part of it is just sort of when somebody's not there anymore, it's hard and you miss them. But I also think there's something that comes with A, being an adult, and B, somebody not being there anymore, that for me anyhow, I have a lot of guilt around just being a daughter. We take our moms for granted. Everybody takes their mom for granted. Am I wrong? Does everybody?
No.
No, I agree.
Well, I feel very fortunate for the relationship I have with my mother now, which is absolutely closer than it's ever been. And we weren't very close when I was growing up, which is mostly on me. Like, I think it was very telling when I was trying to find a photo of my mother and I that I had plenty of photos of my father and I. And I think, like, looking back, growing up, if I was growing up now, I would be one of those misguided, I don't need feminism because kids.
Okay.
And I really rejected being a woman, and she's very feminine, and she grew up doing all the things like sewing and cooking and grew up very traditionally, and I really didn't want to be a woman. I didn't want any part of that system where I was less than. So rather than being like a proud woman, I was just like, well, I'm on this team.
Right.
I'll just be
rejected.
I'll just be a boy.
Womanhoodness.
Yeah. And now, having embraced it and embraced her,
And how?
and I really cherish it now.
Yeah. So what changed? Was it just you coming into your own as a woman, do you feel like?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. And then also, I feel like she wasn't super on board with me being like this little bro.
Right.
So we just didn't have anything in common. Like, when I was growing up, I knew 100% that she loved me, but I was not sure that she liked me very much.
Okay.
Which is fair.
But that's also kind of a kid thing, right? Like, at my mom's memorial service, and since then, whenever I'm in contact with any of her friends, I was like, oh, your mom talked about you all the time, and she was so proud of you. And I'm like, just a second, my mom, my mom who nothing was ever good enough for, who, like, I felt was kind of intolerant of me, my mom.
Was that how her mom was with her?
Totally.
So she mothered the way she knew how to mother, even though obviously she loved you and was proud of you. It was just the only way she knew how to do it because of what she'd been shown, which I think is a really big part of it. My grandmother on my mom's side was extremely loving and affectionate and sweet and warm. And those are qualities of my mom that she 1,000% had as a mother. She wasn't a great parent in other ways, in the more forceful parenting, like actually being a parent way. Yeah. But I never had better hugs and better goodnight kisses and stuff than by my mother. And that's because she got it from her mom. So I think that that's a big part of it.
Oh, there was like a physical longing in me when you said that, because my mom was not. My mom was very, like, I would try to hold her hand when we were walking and she'd pull away. And it wasn't that she didn't like me. In hindsight, I know. She just wasn't a very physical person. And so I feel there's this, like, longing in my body for that when you say that. But I'm very fit, like, my poor son. I'm just over here like, that's why you guys get hugs all the time, because I'm
But
like,
I longed for more motherly stuff from her, like more parental things from my mom than I got. Like, I get that from my dad, and I don't really even look for it from her at a certain point. Like I've said, we're more of a friend relationship, which is great, but it's not a parental thing. And so I got a lot of affection, but I didn't get a lot of parenting, which I would have wanted in hindsight, really. So I think that, I think moms just do the best they can, and sometimes it's not perfect. We'll be perfect moms, I imagine.
Yeah.
Morgan, I've heard stories, other than being naked constantly. Your poor
Very
child.
hot here. No, but I think you just hit the nail on the head, though, right? Is as an adult, you start to figure out that everybody's doing their best, right? And I don't think that I definitely didn't get that growing up. And I had a lot of criticisms of my mom, and I thought she was weak, and I thought she was a victim, and all those kinds of things. And now, I think how strong she was to have withstood the things that she did, and to do all the things that she did, and all the things that she taught me, about being strong. And so but I think, that partly is just becoming an adult and looking back and going like, oh, I get it. Everybody's doing their best, which you don't see when you're a kid because you're just all about me.
I used to feel the same way when I was a kid, because my mom has been a single mother most of her life. She went through 2 different marriages that ended up horribly, one with being with my father and the other with my stepdad, who fathered, me and my sister were my dad's, and then my other younger siblings were for my stepdad. But she was alone most of her life, and my mom came. When I was a kid, anytime I had struggles growing up, I was like, I don't want to do my homework, or I don't want to do this. My mom would be like, when I was a kid, I didn't wear shoes until I was 9 years old. I didn't get these things. I thought radios were, just a box with someone's head in it. So that's like the childhood I grew up in, because my mom had a completely different understanding of the world and her experiences in the world, because she was born and raised in Somalia in Africa, and I was born and raised in Canada, and she's trying to. And when she moved here and had me, she was 18 years old. So she was becoming an adult, and she had to adjust to this whole new world that had a bunch of different obstacles for her children. And she amazes me in how strong she was, because not only did she raise me and my sister, but in addition to that, she had 3 other kids. There's 5 kids on her own.
Thank you for doing the math on that.
5 kids in a country that's a strange land to her. And even though I have so many struggles with her, and she causes me a lot of stress sometimes, I still feel amazed that she did any of that. And I can only see that as an adult. Right. When I was a kid and she was annoying the crap out of me, I didn't have the perspective to see that. But now looking back, I'm like, wow, my mom was an incredibly strong person, and I want to learn from her experiences.
Yeah. Will you do her laugh?
Watch out for that, guys.
We did one time at a house party. We were having a dance party, and we were all in a circle, and we suddenly started all doing how our moms dance.
Yes.
And then we'd be like, "What's your mom's name?" We'd be like, "Okay, everybody do the Lois." And then we all ran in the spot like my mom does. And then someone's like, "Now somebody do the Pamela." And this one woman clapped. It was the most fun party game I've ever played in my life.
I'm gonna try that next party I go to. Your mom's dance is running on the spot.
She just jogs to the spot and does this. And she kind of sometimes she'll go a little bit forward and then she'll go a little bit back, but it's just her feet are jogging. It's adorable.
Kids are so mean. You're so terrible.
I think we are all such awesome dancers, so our kids could never make fun of us.
There's no
not without a
Elaine's.
lot of classes.
Without a lot of classes. All right. I think that's probably a good place to leave it, because I want to have a dance party now. That's the only problem with
And
this
I want to
set.
go call my mom and tell her
I
I love her and
know.
appreciate her.
Everybody go call your mom.
I'll text her
Tell
and then
you
she'll call
love
me.
Send your mom a text. She'll text back to somebody else, but the message will get through there. Tell your mom you love her. Thanks, ladies. Thanks, moms. Shout out to all the moms out there, and we'll see you next time on Morgan, Brayton, and Other People. Oh, I'm a mess. I know. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying to keep it together.